Hi Hijal, welcome to this video podcast. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Devi. So this is Hijal Chatterjee. I have been working as a product manager with Cartrade Tech Ltd for nearly 2 years. This is my first organization and my first role after I completed my MBA in the year 2022 from IIM Shillong. Before MBA, I had again close to 2 years of work experience in the domain of software development. When I started my MBA journey, truth be told, I did not know whether I would become a product manager or whether there would be something else, some other path that I would, take. But over the course of the 2 years in Shillong, as I approached the placements, the end of it, it became more and more clear to me that this is what I mostly wanted to do. And then in the second year of my MBA, I also aligned my subjects. So my institute allowed the students to choose the subjects in the second year. I don't know if that is the system all across, but it was the
Yes,
system there.
yeah.
Right. And so we had a system where you could choose anything. If you wanted, you could have all finance subjects. If you wanted, you could have all marketing subjects. There was no basically constraints as such. So I aligned my subjects to the product management role, which mainly included subjects that dealt with data, analyzing data, how to look at data, marketing subjects that give you a better understanding of how to basically understand the gaps in the market, and then understanding customer journeys. These basically, I'd say, helped me in a way, coupled with the experience in the software development domain. And then finally, yeah, this is how I become a PM.
Right. Hijal, very, very interesting and very, typical journey of a product manager in Indian space where
Right.
you have worked in tech sector for a bit, then you complete your MBA, then product management. Well, you have been in this space for quite some time. I see around 2 years now you will be completing. So
Right.
coming to a few technical jargons which product management space has, can you please tell us about PRDs and relevant stakeholders when it comes to PRDs? Who do you deal with?
Right. Okay. So of what is a PRD? A PRD is a product requirement document, right? So as the name suggests, it basically lays down the requirements of a feature or a new development or anything basically that you are doing. But I would like you to think, or this is how I think basically, that a PRD is something that helps me achieve clarity. So when I ideate on something, it's usually a lot of thoughts going around in my mind. And it's when I start putting the thoughts down, even on a piece of paper, if I just write it down on a piece of paper, starts, it starts taking some shape, some clarity, right? So that is the first and foremost reason I think PRDs should exist, and PRDs help you with in that. That is achieving clarity as to why you are doing something, what is the broader goal that you want to achieve, and the particular thing that you are thinking of doing, what exactly would it achieve, how is it aligned to your broader goal, and what would be the success metrics. I mean, you did something, but did it really help in achieving your goals or did it not? So figuring that out at a point when you are just starting the ideation or starting the process, it helps you in designing the roadmap, and helps you get more clarity as to what exactly needs to be done or what need not be done. Then the second part here is, like, you should know what is your objective. You should also know what is not your objective. So cutting things out, that let's say I'm aiming to rank better in the search engine result page, my aim should be limited to that. I if or There can be something else, like I am only aiming to improve the customer satisfaction score somewhere, so my aim should be limited to that. So this is how you can also cut out the other things that should not be part of your development. So all these things come in the PRD. Then a typical PRD can have these following sections. It can have the objective, the broader objective, then the smaller objective, or the piece that this particular development, yeah, basically this particular feature would achieve, and what is beyond your scope. What are the success metrics? Then, if you want, you can also add a project management chart to it, like by when, what should be achieved, something like that. Then, what are the assumptions that you made? Let's say you are doing something completely new and you have no idea. I mean, you cannot quantify how much would be the improvement, and there should be some assumptions. You can list out the assumptions there. Then there would be questions, some open-ended questions that you don't know the answers to. So all of that form a PRD. Now, who are the stakeholders involved in it? The first stakeholder would be the PM himself or herself, because it is for his or her use, firstly. Secondly, when you have to communicate something to the design teams or the tech teams, or even any of the teams involved in the process, a PRD always helps. Like, you give them the idea, you verbally communicate it to them, then you also present them with a document which they can go through and they can understand where you are coming from. So, yes, basically, this is what a PRD is and how a PRD helps.
Got it. So it's basically a great tool to articulate, I think, your ideas, and also to,
Correct.
anyone who looks at a PRD should get an idea about what you are thinking and articulating. Great, great.
Right, right,
Very,
right.
very clear explanation by you here. And coming to the next thing, which we keep hearing in product management space, it's wireframing. So can you tell us what is wireframing and what is the importance of wireframing?
Okay. So again, wireframes also help you with uh, clearly communicating your ideas. See, communication is a very key idea in product management, and I'm pretty sure it plays a key role in every aspect of the professional world. So, how you communicate your idea? Let's say you are thinking of a new homepage or a new module or something. You have some ideas in your mind. First, you need to achieve clarity on your own for yourself. Like, how do I want this to look like? What should be the user interaction? Where should user click? What happens when the user clicks it? Should the button be on the left, on the right? What looks correct? What doesn't look good? All of that. First, for your clarity, you need to have some basic sketch for yourself. Then the other thing that wireframing helps you with is you get some feedback, right? So you made something of a wireframe of, let's say, a new feature, a new pop-up or anything. Then you can ask your peers, maybe your managers there, your seniors there, or even other teams who would be a stakeholder in it. Maybe it could be the enterprise sales teams. Then you get a very quick and early feedback in it. And I'm talking within minutes or hours, you get the feedback like, no, this is not going to work out. This looks very bad. Or, yeah, this is something that possibly can work. Then, when you have that, you can pass it on to a broader group. You can talk to the design teams. You can take their inputs. And the final deliverable of the design would come from the design teams who are basically tasked with creating the designs. But the UI and UX part, as far as your feature or your product is concerned, that is what you have ideated. That should, I mean, wireframing helps in basically, you know, materializing that. So yeah, that is. Uh, Figma is a tool which is very popular these days. So for people who are looking to join or are interested in product management, they can actually consider learning Figma. And there are other tools as well, some online free tools available. So wireframing is fun if it one can also pursue it as an interest.
Right. Yeah, I remember interviewing someone who actually got into UI UX designing, and they were using Adobe. I forgot what software was that. Adobe for wireframing. Then they got into Figma, and yeah, so that is how they got into product management. So
Right.
Hijal, Peter Drucker famously said, "What gets measured gets managed." How do you define and track matrices? Because matrices are all that we have.
Correct, correct, correct. Very, very important. In fact, your I mean, the entirety of product management is driven by data. That is all that we have mostly. So, see, there are primarily two things that I think every organization or every business, especially in the consumer internet sector, is concerned with. One is the acquisition part, and the other one is the monetization part. The acquisition has two parts, I'd say, that is getting people and then their experience. So we can also call it three parts instead of two: acquisition, experience, and monetization. So first, coming to acquisition, what acquisition is basically getting people to your platform in basically whatever platform it may be. So first you need to figure out how do people come to your platform? What are the ways? Then you need to put a measure on each of the ways that people can come to your platform or your website or your app, however it may be. If search engine optimization or SEO plays a big role there, then you have to look at relevant metrics there. If it is through advertisements, then you need to track how many people are coming to your platform through the advertisements that you run. If it is through notifications, your app notifications, app downloads, from where people basically come to your from where people get redirected to your landing pages. So all these entry points you need to first define and then measure. This would be acquisition. Then the second part is experience. Now you got some people in your platform. Are they liking it? How much time are they spending? How many people are bouncing off? And two very common metrics here for experience, I'd say, are NPS, Net Promoter Score, and CSAT, that is customer satisfaction score. So these two things are used industry wide, and then you can define your own metrics that would be relevant for you. You can ask questions from users that do you like this, do you like that, like dislike buttons, whatever works for you basically, but you need to have ways to understand how is the experience for your users. Now, the third and probably the most important part, I wouldn't say it's the most important. I mean, all three are equally important, but the only part that generates money is monetization. So you have got people, you have also looked at the experience. How do you make money out of the
Right.
user interaction? So, in whatever ways you monetize, so let's say for every 100 people that are coming to your platform, how much money or how much revenue you're generating? How do you improve that? So that conversion rate, somewhere all monetization metrics should deal with this conversion. So yeah, these are primarily the three kinds of metrics that organizations look at, especially in the consumer internet sector. Then there can be internal metrics as well for your processes. I would give an example for my own product, that is, let's say we show the accurate on-road prices of vehicles, right? The moment a price changes in reality, how soon or how quickly we can reflect it on the website. This is a metric. This is somehow connected to the experience, right? But this will not be relevant to other sectors or other organizations, but this is something very important for us. So yes, so your internal processes, how they relate to your users' experience, and how you can improve those metrics will be defined based on that.
Hijal, I really like this. What you said, real time price and how it is so intuitive, but yet does not come on mind. Coming to my next question, you have a lot of data. Let's say, can you talk about the qualitative aspect of it? How and what do you want to research? How do you know that? If you can talk.
Okay. Uh, See, I don't have a rule of thumb for research, to be honest. I read somewhere that to be able to improve your customer's experience, you should become a customer yourself. And I think that is probably the gist of the research that product managers can do. My organization deals with users who are at some stage of the customer journey to buying a vehicle, right? One way of doing research for me would be to visit showrooms and dealers, talking to potential customers, like customers who are going to buy a vehicle, who are considering buying a vehicle, how they reach that stage, and what are the pain points that they are facing. Uh, let's say somebody wants to finance their vehicle, they wants to have EMI options. What are the problems that they are facing there? So all these can be found out by talking to people who are actually the not just talking, by putting yourself in the shoes of the people who are actually going through the entire journey, and they are the people who your platform is aiding somehow. So this is, I think, the most important aspect of market research, that is putting yourself in the shoes of the consumer. Here, a small anecdote. I remember that Airbnb's CEO, Brian Chesky, uh, he actually became a customer at his own listing for close to 6 months, and he noted down lots of things that a list of things that he would want to improve. And I think that is the essence of market research finally. So if your organization has an interface that directly talks to the end users or the customers that come to your platform and use your products, this interface, let's say customer support or whatever it may be called, they can give you valuable inputs as to what pain points customers face. So yeah, I think that is what it is.
Hijol, can you please tell us about roadmap prioritization and what is your
Okay.
take on it?
Okay. See, prioritization. Finally, it comes down to three things. Let's say you have understood the pain points, and you have also ideated on how you can solve the pain points. Like somehow you have at least to some degree you have ideated on how you can solve them. It need not be a very detailed solution, or it need not be at a very detailed stage of the solutioning. It's just you have understood these pain points, and these can be solved, and so you are there. Now there are five items, let's say, and first you need to understand what would be the impact of solving all these problems, or basically, if even if I'm not talking from the perspective of problems, like five things you want to do, what would be the impact of each of the five items there, right? So you need to list that down. You can make a matrix out of it. Item number one would have very high impact, number two would have probably medium impact, like this. Then the second thing would be understanding how much effort would go into doing all these things. So now you have a complete matrix. Item number one, very high impact, very high effort. Item number two, medium impact, but almost no effort. When you have that, it becomes very easy. You have some very low hanging fruits. You should grab them. And here, just one thing that I have understood. See, what I just said right now is probably common knowledge to all the second year MBA students who have prepared for PM interviews and everything. But what I have understood after 2 years of working is that the things that you don't prioritize for the time being, or for the actionables that you will do right away, even for those, if those are something that are aligned with your broader goal, you should keep some bandwidth for those as well, for yourself at least. Like, it should not be that you should only be focused on the first two three things that you would do, but the other two three things that will take a lot of effort but would also have good impact, you should keep some bandwidth of yourself allocated for those as well. Because when the low hanging fruits go away, then you have to go to them. And then this work that you would be doing would help you out.
Yeah, this is something which is not taught in MBA colleges. So I think you are speaking from experience, and that is, I think, yeah, makes sense. It should align with what you are doing. Hijal, coming to something more unique, please tell us a day at your work. How does a day look like?
It's, I mean, there is no standard structure to a day because every day is different.
Maybe a week. How
But
does your week look like, or something like that?
um, okay, so I'll tell you how, I mean, an average day would be like. So, see, there would be a lot of meetings because as a product manager, you have to deal with everybody. You would be working with the tech teams, you would be working with the design team, you'd be working with the sales teams, there would be clients that you closely work with, there will be ad hoc tasks. So all of these will come. And a lot of your day will go in meeting and understanding what the other stakeholders have to say, communicating your points, your views, um, and yeah, basically a lot of the day will go into all this. But it's also very important to have at least 2 to 3 hours to yourself. So this is what I ensure, or at least try to ensure that I have either at the beginning of the day, or if that is absolutely not possible, then when everything is done at the end of the day, at least 2 hours or 3 hours for myself, where I can do my work, my ideation, wireframes, the PRDs that we talked about. So all of that, this alone time that I carve out somehow, that helps there. So yeah, that is probably an average day.
I have reached to the end of most of my questions. I would like to ask you to advise, or put it other way. What is your advice for aspiring product managers who are maybe in their second years of MBAs, or who are just, after right out of engineering colleges?
I think uh, data analysis, this is something that would help in the role of a PM. So getting yourself more accustomed with tools or methods that help you look at data, analyzing data, that would definitely help. Then secondly, looking at different UI UX developments. This is a fun thing to do as well. So how different organizations are solving problems differently, and something that you can be mindful of is the continual developments that keep happening in the popular apps or platforms that we keep using. For example, Uber recently changed their UI slightly. So what changes went in there, how it improved the user experience. So all these, if you start critically analyzing, you will see that it's a very fun thing to do as well. This is something that I like to do. Uh, but if this question is asked from a more interview help perspective, then think there are some online forums, YouTube channels that help you with this critical reasoning of product thought processes and design thinking, those will definitely help. And understanding user journeys, user stories. Yeah, I think these will help. I don't know how helpful this answer was.
No,
It
that's
was not very
I
structured,
feel
but
yeah, I personally feel it's very important when people start to analyze the products they use and how the changes make sense from business side, from
correct,
customer side, how it's generating revenue for the business. Or for example,
correct.
Instagram Reels is for I believe is a great example. It just
Mhm.
skyrocketed Instagram use time. I feel so
Yes.
it's very helpful. So how they are doing it and all. Yeah.
Also, something else that you can do is how two different organization or apps are looking at the same problem
Yeah.
differently,
For example,
right?
Zomato and Swiggy, they both have the same problem.
Correct,
How they are looking at it.
correct.
Right.
Yes, yes. This really help. Yes,
Hijal, I've reached to end of my curiosity, and thank you so much for giving us your time and sharing your
yes.
experience. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me over. Yeah.